Hello and welcome to our e-poster on innovations in higher education, teaching and learning using arts-based approaches. This poster gives an overview of the ongoing work to date, which is still in progress, and it presents some future directions for the project. But first let me introduce the team. We are all lecturers based in Mary Immaculate College in Limerick, where we teach and coordinate education modules on the Bachelor of Education and Postgraduate Teacher Education programs. My name is Sandra and I lecture in the area of Sociology and Educational Disadvantage, and my colleagues AnneMarie Morrin lecture in Visual Art Education and Dolan, who lectures in Primary Geography. The primary focus of this Studio Habits of Mind project is to promote innovative ways for collaborative partners to engage and respond to creative pedagogies and assessment. We are seeking to deepen the teaching and learning experience for students by drawing on the creative arts and developing competencies and skills such as problem solving, creativity, critical thinking, adaptability and communication, all of which are increasingly important educational aims. With the view to identifying best practices and as a way to develop our own creative capacities, we, the lecturers, explored creative ways of working that helped us to develop teaching and learning that was authentic, imaginative, and incorporated different perspectives from our disciplines. During phase 1 of the project, over a period of about a year, team members participated in a variety of professional development activities, which involved testing out ideas, reflecting and evaluating together. We explored the possibilities and challenged ourselves in the use of creative methods, and through this engagement we identified a number of methodologies that we found to be particularly effective. The main theoretical framework that forms the basis for this project is the Studio Habits of Mind framework that was developed at Project Zero, Harvard School of Education. Studio Habits of Mind is a pedagogical approach traditionally found in the artist studio. Within this framework, teaching and learning focuses on developing 7 studio habits of mind by exposing the learners to the kinds of thinking skills and working styles taught in an artist studio, such as observation, expression, envisioning, and development. As we engaged with the process ourselves, we adapted the framework and principles to reflect the challenges set out by this project. The process gave us a developmental approach to our creative capacities, while challenging us to adapt our discipline-specific skills. We incorporated the creative approaches explored in Phase 1 into the Spring 2021 elective modules on the BEd programme, and I'll describe those in a moment. So Phase 2 of the project is currently underway with the students across our 3 elective modules, and in which they are addressing the common theme of identity, being and belonging in contemporary Ireland. So the creative approaches we adopted from Phase 1 include the following. So one was art therapy methodologies, in which we used creative interventions to encourage self-expression, and this included exploring symbolism and metaphor, the exploration of transitional objects that connected students to their childhood, and deepening the learning. Another methodology is art and ecology, in which students experienced the natural environment as an outdoor studio and worked with living art materials by mapping, walking, and drawing, while deepening their observation and connectivity. Picture book illustration is a further example of a methodology we adopted, and narrative 4 story exchange is another methodology that's focused on developing empathy. Visual thinking strategies were used for developing critical thinking skills, and finally, design thinking. All of these methods were utilized to encourage, imagine, observe, envision, express, reflect, develop, experience, and persist, all of which encompass the Studio Habits of Mind framework. The OECD rubric for fostering students' creativity and critical thinking forms the basis of our assessment. While we are using shared methodologies, these have been adapted within the modules as appropriate. Each module is also applying the assessment tasks in different ways that link to module learning outcomes, and that's appropriate for those learning outcomes as well. Students are using visual journals and sketchbooks to record weekly tasks. They are also developing a picture book or storybook related to the theme of identity, being and belonging, as they have interpreted that within their own module. And feedback from students indicates that they have found the cross-module collaboration interesting and useful for exploring a variety of perspectives. And they also found that it gave them a good model for integration in their own classroom teaching. Throughout this collaborative process, we have really challenged ourselves to reflect on and re-examine our own approaches to teaching and learning, and to think closely about what we do, as well as how and why we do that. We have learned about methodologies from each other's disciplines and adapted and modified our approaches accordingly. We plan to share the learning from this project and to explore further developments as we go along. We hope to provide collaborative cross-disciplinary professional development for our colleagues in Mary I and for other teacher educators. We hope to develop further cross-disciplinary courses for the BEd students, and we also hope to document the learning in some journal articles and to publish a toolkit and a book on creative teaching and learning strategies that we have devised. We also hope to have some exhibitions of our own and the students' work, and to hold a creative teaching and learning in higher education conference. So thank you very much for your interest in this project, and we look forward to further developments of the work.